Hi everyone, my name's Liv. I am the Programme and Impact Manager at GFS. And this evening I'm here to share some thoughts about what girls today need in order to become the wonderful women of tomorrow. So I recently started reading this book here by Moya Sana. She is a woman in her mid-30s training to be a psychotherapist, and the book explores what growing up really involves. And as a woman of a similar age, and therefore an alleged grown-up, from the first page it was really speaking to me. And in chapter 1 there was a section on developing the sense of self. And she describes a psychological theory that from an early age we become aware of people's expectations of us and we start adapting to meet them. And as we grow, we can unconsciously try to become the person that she thinks is wanted, that she feels can be managed, rather than the one she truly spontaneously is. And I think it's significant when explaining this theory that the author uses a woman in her example. And it got me thinking about the work that we do at GFS. Our whole reason for being is to support girls to be themselves. But the concept of being yourself is quite tricky to pin down, and of course it doesn't always feel possible. As the book says, we can't just go rampaging around putting our wants and needs above everybody else's all the time. And so as grown-ups, and I think as women, most of us wear different versions of ourselves for different situations. And that can be helpful sometimes, like me now with my big, brave public speaking hat on. But I think that as a result, and as Parv has said, lots of us struggle with that concept of authenticity, how to embody your true self, and most importantly, be confident in it. And from what we hear from girls, I think that struggle starts young. So girls are told nowadays that they can do anything, and when they're young, they believe it, as they should. So why does their confidence and self-esteem start to drop in their teenage years? Why is their mental health worse? Why are girls less happy than boys? There is a gap between the narrative that girls can have it all and their real life experiences of the world. The official barriers may be gone, but there are still so many pressures, stereotypes, expectations that shape girls' ideas of who they're supposed to be. And it's not just the big scary things that we hear in the news, but small everyday experiences as well. And my work at GFS involves listening to girls about these experiences. So early next year, we are sharing a report outlining what we've heard from girls as young as 6 about the issues and influences that are shaping their lives. And they tell us about the gender stereotypes that they still experience in the classroom, in the playground, and online. They tell us about the anxiety that they feel within their friendships, friends who are so important to them, but simultaneously make them worry about being judged as they try to fit in. They tell us how they enjoy the self-expression of fashion and beauty, but then face pressure to look a certain way and criticism as they try to navigate impossible beauty standards. They're often worried at school about bullies, about academic pressure, about whether they can go to the toilet when they need to, especially if they're on their period. They feel held to higher standards of behaviour and excluded from certain spaces and situations. In the playground, football is still for boys, and in the classroom, certain subjects are still not for girls. And so what is the result of all these conflicting expectations? Wider research from organisations like Girl Guiding and Plan UK have found that for girls, 44% feel lonely most of the time or often, 52% feel anxious about their future, and 56% feel not good enough most of the time or often. So from an early age, being themselves gets complicated. And the older they get, the more aware of this they become. They lose that freedom and that self-belief of their childhood, and instead they start monitoring, worrying, adapting, fitting in, to stay safe, to feel liked and to be accepted. And this holds them back from enjoying themselves, from experiencing things, and from accessing the opportunities that they deserve. So what happens next? Do we just grow up and grow out of it? Maybe, if we're lucky. But I think the fact that we're all here tonight, listening to these speeches, says something about how these pressures continue to ripple through our lives. And as women, as professionals, as parents, children, partners, friends, it can be really hard to untangle where we start and where those expectations stop. And that's why GFS is still needed 150 years after it was founded. So whilst we can't dismantle the pressures that girls are under single-handedly, we can help them recognise, challenge and deal with them. It's not enough to just tell girls that they can do things and expect them to find the courage and the self-belief to get on with it. They have to develop the confidence and the resilience that will enable them to try new things, to fail but keep going, to not be perfect every time, and to feel the fear and do it anyway. And this is the work that we do with girls at GFS. So we run activity groups across England and Wales, focused in areas where girls need us most, and we're starting to move our work into schools as well. By learning through play, we give girls the skills that are needed to handle these pressures, and more importantly, a rare safe space to figure out who they are. They get to try new things, they get to build positive relationships, they encounter supportive role models, and they are free to just be. And if I had more than 20 seconds, I could share so much about what girls get out of GFS, but here are some examples in their own words. So GFS gives girls the courage to do difficult things. It helps girls feel more comfortable and confident to express themselves. And GFS provides environments where girls can let their guard down and accept themselves just the way they are. So you're all here because you care about supporting and building up women to be their best selves. And at GFS, we're doing that same work, we're just starting earlier. So if you're interested in seeing how you could support, then please do check out the leaflets on your tables and come and speak to any of the GFS reps here tonight. So just to finish off, going back to that book about growing up, I've actually not finished it yet, which is typical of me. But I'm pretty sure the premise is that the process never ends. There is no grown-up nirvana that we reach once we've figured it all out, although if you have, do please come and see me after this. So instead, Moya says she started the book because I am in search of a voice that feels like my own. So if we can give girls a positive start on that lifelong journey of finding their voice, then hopefully we can give them the best chance of growing up into the most wonderful of women. Thank you.